What are the final price hurdles that gold and silver need to get above and hold above in order for me to be 100% confident that we are making new all-time highs for a good few months ahead and possibly years? Hey there everyone, it's Joe. This is your weekly precious metals price analysis and update brought to you by Ainslie Bullion and the Gold and Silver Standard. Use the time codes below to go to your favorite metal. This week we're focusing purely on gold and silver. Nothing else for this week. We'll do platinum again probably next week, maybe even a crypto or two for next week as well. You're looking at gold here on the monthly time frame, priced in US dollars, as we always do it in. We'll take a quick look at Australian dollars as well. But 1,974 US dollars right now. We're using the tradingview.com website, and this goes all the way back to the 1970s. So the big macro view of gold. Of course, you can see the big peaks and troughs. The big peak here, 2011. The 1, 2, 3 triple top. Probably not, very likely not. Triple tops usually aren't a thing. Double tops are a thing. You can see that move back down here, but let's just punch in and we'll also pop in the indicators as well. I'm taking the Fibonacci here from this more recent high of 2011 and the low in 2015 here. And I think I'm going to stick with that Fibonacci for, well, the foreseeable future. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. Let's just see where we've come from in the last couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that hurdle. What's that price? So let's go down to here. This is the weekly time frame, and just quickly show you last week's video. So here in gold, we're at $1,925 roughly. We'd had that big move down to that 1810 level, which I had marked as a possible level of support. Certainly hit it pretty much right on the money right there. Sailed right back through this downtrend line, which is great to see, of course. And we're around about that level of 1,900 and that 30 level, which I had been talking about. And since then, what do you know? We have just punched right through. So taking a look at the weekly time frame, in the last week, there's that 1926 level roughly, and we've just absolutely sailed through to a top so far of just under 2,000 US dollars. And in the last few days, let's just see where we've come from the last couple of days. Right here, a move down to 1,955. Does that sit anywhere in with particular trend line analysis? Let's have a quick little look. No, it hasn't come back to retest there, but what you do see here is before that big move, what we did have, and I'll show you right here, if you can see that right there between those points, you have that breakout and then the retest of that downtrend line there. So that was very positive. We moved above and held above so far this particular Fibonacci line right there of that 1925 level. That's where we were roughly last week. And since then, looking positive. So very positive for gold. I would say 99% sure. So look, that's pretty much a lock. But in order to be 100% sure, we just need to get over and hold above and come back probably and test as support very briefly a particular level. Let me show you that level right here. In my opinion, of course, not financial advice, not necessarily the advice of Ainslie, all that. Do your own research. If you're just dollar cost averaging, all that sort of stuff, maybe that's the best way to do it. But of course, right here you can see, and it's going to be just pretty much that $1,990 to $2,000 level. So I'm going to place it. I'll actually do it with, instead, I'll do it with a rectangular box, like I usually like to do. I'll pop it in here. So let's see, 1990. I'll just take it back all the way here, 1990 to $2,000. So that for me is the big hurdle, the one we need to get over and close over, at least on, I would say, a monthly time frame. So if we pop it back out to the month, right here, you're going to be a little bit clustered with indicators and trend lines, etc. But if in the next month, so what we've got, well, not the next month, sorry, the next few days, if we close above I'll keep it at 1,990. If we close October, so we have a green candle and we close here at the end of the month at 1,990 or greater, then I'm going to say we are very likely going to break again and then hold the next month. So really what we'd like to see is the next month in November is holding above 1990, and then you're absolutely 100% saying we are just on our way to brand new all-time highs. And then we can also look at where we might find areas of resistance on the way up in price discovery. So that's the hurdle for me, somewhere between $1,990 to $2,000 level. Want to really see it close above that on the monthly time frame. Let's blue sky think and assume that we do that. It's looking very positive. So let's assume we do that. What's the next price levels for me? And I still am going to base it on this current high and low. So right here, the Fibonacci, again, of $1,920, roughly US dollars that is, and $1,050, the high and that low. You can see it's been somewhat predictive in the last number of years. You can see it was an area of resistance here at the 0.382, and you can sort of see rough areas of resistance and support as well. I'm sticking with that one for now until evidence changes my mind. And so right here you have the first couple of extension levels from this high and this low. And so the first high is the 1.618, and that is at the between, let's call it 2,400 to 2,500 US dollars. And my more popular one that I find I really like is the 2.618 right there. So potentially, it might take a good amount of time, but the big high for me would be coming at around about that 3,300 US dollar level. What that is in your own currency remains to be seen, because your currency floats against the US dollar because it's the world's reserve currency. Speaking of, let's take a quick look at XAU AUD. We posted a video last week very quickly congratulating Aussie stackers for sticking it out there, for sticking it out, I should say. So for sticking it out against all the naysaying. If you didn't watch that video, basically we're saying good on you for stacking throughout the years, even if you've just done it recently, even if the mainstream media is saying, gold's a dead investment, why even bother? And also your potential friends and family who think you're totally strange, a weirdo for stacking gold and silver. They think you're just a collector. Oh, you're a coin collector. No, no, we're investing in this for the future and all that. So good on you for sticking it out. And as I said in that video, the proof's certainly in the pudding. Look at the Australian dollar value. It made a new all-time high just last week, topping out at, let's see, on this particular index, on the Forex index, 3,160 Australian dollars. It's looking pretty good. Gold in other currencies have certainly seen new all-time highs recently. Just the US one needs to catch up, and it looks like it certainly is doing that. So again, for the people in the back, hurdle, got to cross over and hold above on the monthly time frame, $1,990 to $2,000. Let's just call it 1,990 to be safe, and then pretty darn confident that this is certainly not a triple top, very likely, and we're on our way up. If you have a differing opinion, post your comments below and let me know why. Are there other technical indicators that you like to use, that you prefer, that you find are more predictive? I would like to hear that as well. Very quickly on the relative strength index on the monthly time frame, what you'll note right here, and this is the other reason why why I personally am, so confident as well. We have ticked above just in October. So we had that low there of 1810, and in October we are trending so far, looking good, trending above the average here of the relative strength index. And also, if I show you very quickly, it's not an exact science, but what you'll see here is we've also broken out of that little downtrend line on the relative strength index of the direction in which it was going as well. So that's why it's all looking very positive. This might be all, completely obvious stuff to everyone, but you really need to look at the specific levels to be really confident. If you want to have a high reward with a low risk play, then you've got to think about these particular levels. So for me, that's $19.90 to $2,000 roughly. That is gold. Let's take a look at silver. This will be the last metal for the day. As I said in the start of the video, we will do platinum next week, gold, silver, platinum. Might even do a couple of cryptos too, particularly Bitcoin. So let's have a take a look at silver. We're not at the hurdle yet for silver. We're not close to it yet, but I'll mention what that is in just a second. Let's take a look at where we've come from in the last few days and in the last week. So last week we were here at $22.80 roughly, and I had been talking about this area here, and I put a horizontal line in. It was good to see that we were starting to move above this downtrend line right here. What I suggested is that you might see an area of around about $23.50, and what would be a healthy move is if we come up to $23.50 and then we come back to test this downtrend line at some time. Let's see where we've gone from there. All right, so we have again on the daily time frame, US dollars, $22.94. Right now, we had that move. There's that downtrend line I spoke about. We're around about here, $22.80. And we saw a move up to around about, we topped out technically on this particular index at 23.66, but around about that 23.50 level. And since then, we've had a move back close to, not yet, back down to test this downtrend line. So we've come down to $22.60, so a $1 move back down. Do we have to test this before we go back up? No, but just do bear that in mind. If you come back down here to test this downtrend line after a breakout, don't think it's all doom and gloom. Okay, so you've got this level right here. So I would say the safety net is around about, I'm going to post it in around about there, roughly at $22.30, $22.40 US cents. So a move back down to here, test this downtrend line around about that $22.30, $22.40 area. Don't be panicked about it, in my humble opinion. Breaking down further from there, then I'd say, okay, then you got to start to think that we're maybe coming back down to test this $20 level, but let's just see what happens from here. Got to hold that line around about $22.30, $22.40, in my humble opinion. So let's talk about there's a couple of hurdles. We'll talk about the hurdles on the way up and then the final hurdle. So we'll do that at the end. Of course, we want to break above 23.50. You've got this hurdle right here, mini hurdle, this downtrend line going back from May of 2023. Couple of points right here, 1, 2. So you want to see that move above and hold above. Of course, we've been talking about the $26 level. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will, if you're a new subscriber to the channel, very, very quickly, I'll show you this Fibonacci from the old high. Again, this is taking it. Please understand, this is the power. For me, this is the power of Fibonacci. Again, my own opinion, not financial advice, all that jazz. This is from the old high of 1980 at $50 and the old low in the early 90s of $3.50 US cents. That is still in play for me. You can see how I think it's been quite predictive since the bottom in the early 90s. You came up to here, there's a Fibonacci, the old high, you've got, but here, right here, is this support level. That's a Fibonacci line at, what do you know, $26. It was support 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Finally, it broke down, and then you had this level right here, huge level of support. This is the COVID panic, so the overstretch, the oversell right there. And then 26 has been a massive level of resistance as well. It's been a huge hurdle. We tried once. So this was in August of 2020, once, failed move. February of 2021 to break above this line right here, 26 line, a Fibonacci level, key one. And no, we held above there for about a month and then no, back down. Third time, no. Fourth time, slight spike, but no, and then back down. And just recently, here in April of this year, we tried to make a play for it, no. So that is a hurdle. It's a big, big hurdle, and I've been speaking about that for a long time. It's not the final hurdle, I'll tell you that in just a second. But we have to break above 26 and hold above for at least, let's see, at least 2 months for me. You know, I would want to see 2 months of holding above 26, and I would want to see that third month above 26, you know, break and start to go green before I go, looks like we're pretty confident that 26 will actually hold this time, okay? But that's not the final one. Here is my final hurdle. In my humble opinion, you can probably see it already. Let me go back very quickly again. So this is the old high, again, of 1980 and the lows of the early 90s. And you have this level right here. This is the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level at $31.20 US cents. It won't be an exact science. You could call it somewhere around about 31 to 32, you know, give or take. But that is my big hurdle right there. And you know what? I will even pop in another line right there. Let me pop it in 31.20, and I'll give it a name as well. So let's go big hurdle. We'll go final hurdle because that's going to be the name. Final hurdle of the title of this video. Final hurdle right there, $31.20. You may have a differing opinion, and that's okay. Post a comment below. But for me, we have to break above, close above it on a monthly time frame, and then come back and it has to hold as support. And then I will say 100%. I'm already, you know, look, I'm 80, 85%, 90% there with silver. You know, definitely seems like in a bull market, but for 100% confirmation, it's there for me, $31.20 roughly. Call it between 31 and 32, the final hurdle for silver, in order for me to be confident to say 100% we're making a play for here, and then we're going higher and higher and higher. For those who are new to the channel and you haven't seen my videos before, my next extension targets after we make new all-time highs, don't know when they hit, but my two big ones for me, the 1.618 Fibonacci at $75 roughly, and the 2.618 at 120 US dollars. Again, what that is in your own currency remains to be seen. If we look at XAG in Australian dollars, XAG for silver, you can see we're actually coming more closer to all-time highs in Australian dollars. Now, of course, this is all the paper price. This doesn't take into effect the physical price. Of course, you're paying premiums, etc. So you never know. You may see the difference between spot price and the premiums you pay for physical start to widen even more. So, you know, for example, if silver is at 36 Australian dollars, what does a physical 1 ounce silver coin or bar cost you at that time? Of course, there's all those factors to take into account. But for me, and I think I did this last time, if silver was at, say, $76, that would make it around about your $100 mark for silver, or actually higher. Let's do that very quickly. We'll go USD to AUD. So it's 76 US dollars. That's 120 Australian dollars, for example. So just bear that in mind. I actually might pop that in there right now. But again, that really depends on what the Aussie dollar is doing. But let me just pop it in anyway. 120 Australian dollars right there as well. I had an $80 move in there, I think. Oh, I know why. I had the $80 move in there. That was because what happens if let's just go back to silver. So silver, when it hits 50 or 48 Australian dollars, that makes it around about that $75 to $80 mark. So that's when the Aussie dollar was a little bit higher. So it's around, that's why I had that move right there in silver in Australian dollars. That's why I had that $80 target. Now that's moved a little bit lower just because of the Aussie dollar. All right, so I'll put around about 75 Australian dollars. But again, that floats against the US dollar, so it really remains to be seen. So really, we just stick to silver. Again, that final hurdle, $31.20, got to hold above and then have as support. So those are my final hurdles for gold and silver in order for me personally to be 100%, and I'm talking 100% confident. I'm already way more than 50% confident. We're in a bull market, of course. I think you all know that. That's why you're buying the precious metals now for the future. So post a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on all of this, including everything I just mentioned. I will keep a few of these. I'll get rid of a couple of these lines. I'll keep a few of these, but I'm definitely keeping this Fibonacci again from the old high on silver and the old low there. That seems quite predictive still so far. Again, if you disagree, post a comment below. I want you to head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ainslie Bullion. You'll get another precious metals price analysis next week. I will include platinum next week and probably a crypto too. What crypto do you want to see? If you do, post a comment below. What one would you prefer to see? Any of the big ones? Let me know. Like, share, and subscribe. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care. We'll see you next time.